Hey there, today we'll be doing the question that is of day 3, count sub island, and the number of enclaves, and all the day 1 and day 2 videos have already been uploaded. Please do follow this graph playlist. These questions are only from Leetcode, mind you. Okay, so you can find this card in Leetcode. So coming on to day 3 matrix related problem, that is 1905, count sub island, and the question statement is you are given two m cross n binary matrices, grade 1 and grade 2, containing only zeros, that is representing water, and ones representing land. An island is a group of ones connected four directionally. So if you have been following this, you must have known that they have ones as land and zeros as water. An island in grid 2 is considered as a sub-island if there is an island in grid 1 that contains all cells that make up this island in grid 2, and we need to return the number of sub-islands in grid 2. Now let's understand this question in a simpler manner. So we have been given this matrix right here. Now what they have defined a sub-matrix or a sub-island as, that this is your first matrix that is present here, and this is your second matrix that is present here. After that, what they have said is that if you have some islands on grid 1, you can have some island also in grid 2, but you can only take those valid island which are also valid in 1. Now this might seem confusing to you a bit, but just hang on. I'll explain it in a much simpler manner again. So let's just consider the grid 2 one. Fine. Why they have taken this guy and this guy as separate islands? Okay. Whereas this whole island is a complete one. So they have said we are taking sub islands from grid 2. Fine. And there is a grid 1. Coming on to this one right here, now we can see this whole part is an island, right? This whole part is an island right here. But from here in grid 2, what can you say? That only this part is an island? Obviously, because we can only move up, down, left and right, and up, down, left and right, it cannot form any other island. So this is an island which is also an island in grade 1, so that is why this is qualified as one island. Okay, and also this is qualified as an island since it is an island here also. Now why was this grid not considered an island? Okay, this might be coming to your mind. Let's understand that also. So this guy right here is not considered an island. Why so? Let's see. So this guy right here is forming an island, a bigger island. If you see, this guy is forming an island which is of length 3, or these are the islands which are connected to this one, right? Fine. So in my grid 1, I need to have these three values as 1. But am I having these three values as 1 in grid 1 as well? Obviously not. If you carefully see, we need in grid 1 these three values to be 1. Right? These three values should be 1. But here it's 0, 0, but here is 1 and 1. Right? So this is not a valid island. Fine. Now again, there is one more thing that we need to just take care of, that is this part. Why is this part here and this part here not considered sub island? Now it is very clear to you, right? Because here it's 1 but here it's 0. We need a 1 here and a 1 here also, then it will be your a sub island. Fine. Now how to do this question, let's understand that. So again we'll be doing a DFS here. So the base concept here lies also in DFS with some tweaking. Now how do we do it? Again, what do? We just go on to every cell. Fine. We go on to this cell, let's say. Now I'll try to find on the sub island or island that we can form in grid 2. Mind you, we'll be iterating on grid 2 and not grid 1. Fine. Grid 1 is just for reference to see that okay, are the values in grid 1 also the same as grid 2? You'll understand why am I saying this. So in grade 2, first I go here. Okay, I started DFS and I hope you know DFS by now. Fine. So we'll go there and we'll start our DFS from here. Where can we go? Up, down, left and right. So I'll try to go right. Why so? Because there's a value 1 and other guys, some do not exist only, and one of the guy have 0. So I'll go left. Sorry, right. Again from here I can go right. fine. Again from here I can go bottom, from here I can go right and right as well. And why did we go and take this path? Since all the paths that I can take here are having the value 1 in grid 1 also. And why did we not go here? It's having a value 1 in grid 1, but here it's having a 0. See, this is the main part. In grid 2, if we have a 0, if we have a conflict between grid 1 and grid 2, and what do you mean by conflict? That is, the value in grid 1 is not equals to the value in grid 2. If that is the case, then we cannot explore that island. Okay, let's just say there is let's just reverse the roles. Like, here we have 0 and here we have 1. Can we consider this as an island? Obviously not, right? Since in grade 1 I need to have a 1, and in grade 2 I obviously have a 1, but in grade 1 I do not have a 1. So what do we come to a conclusion about? That is, all the values in grade 1 should be present, that is fine. But all the values in grid 2 that are present should also be present in grid 1. So basically saying, whatever we have in grid 2 must be present in grid 1. That means all the cells that are here marked as 1 should also be marked as 1 here. Okay, so this is what we are trying to get on to. Likewise, coming on to here, we see that we started EFS from this cell, let's just say, then we cannot find a 1 here, so this is conflicting, and we cannot do a DFS from here. So all that you need to do in the DFS is check the values, that is, if the grid 1 value, whatever the ij value of grid 1, okay, that is present there, if it is not equals to grid 2's ij value, okay, if this is the case, then what do? We simply return a 0. Why? Because we cannot form an island there. But if it continues and we could form an island, what do we return? We just return a 1, saying that, okay, yes, I could form an island. You go become an island, and I'll just take on the count of how many I can make. Fine. So now let's get on to the code part. It will be a simpler one. Fine. Sorry about that. And again, just to remind you, the code will be in the description linked below. Okay, and also the whole playlist link will also be there. Please do check it out. It will be a massive help. And we are just doing it side by side. That means even you are doing and I'm also learning. Okay, so it's a both a win-win for each of us. So now let's come on to this part. That is, we have a row and column. That is pretty evident that we have two grids right here, and both the rows and columns are same of grid 1 and grid 2. So that is why we can take just one. Okay, but why can we say that? Because we are just traveling on grid 2. Fine. And I'll just bring on to the example as well. Okay, so now what are we doing? We are just saying that we are going on to grid 2, and whenever we find in the grid 2 the value is 1, then only we do a DFS, right? Then only we do a DFS. That is, if there is an island, then only we start a DFS from that cell. That is why we are starting from that side. Okay, so this is just the DFS part. And if the DFS is returning me some value, then I'll be incrementing the count. Otherwise, I will not be incrementing the count. I'll get on to the count part later. Okay. And this is the classic DXDY thing that we are doing since day one. So you must know it by now. Now, what are we doing in the DFS? The DFS code is exactly similar. The only thing that I mentioned to you while I was explaining is, if the value that we are seeing is different in both the cells, we return a 0. That is the only thing that we need to write in the DFS. Okay, and everything that we write, like if the cell has already been visited, if it already has been visited, what do? We do nothing, we just return back, right? But if it is not visited, what do? We just mark it as visited now, because we are exploring it right now. Okay, so now let's just see the code. So this is the case that we are checking, that is it in bounds. That means, am I not going out of the matrix? If we are going out of the matrix, we just return a 0. And also, what did I say? That if it has already been visited, what do we say? We just return a 0. Okay, so those are the things that we need to just take care of. Also, Here we have something that is the main thing that I said. Always we need to take care of the fact that we cannot have a conflicting value between either of them. That means the cell value of grade 1 and grade 2 cannot be different, right? Why did I say so? While I was explaining, I mentioned this many a times, that this and this has to be same in order to actually form an island, right? So this and this is not an perfect island that we can form, because the values are not matching and all the other guys values matching from this group. So this will be considered as an island, but this will not be considered as an island. Fine. So that is what we have written right here on line number 10. That is, if the values are not similar, what do? We just make sure that the answer becomes 1. And what is this answer doing? So this answer is just saying that if the values are different, what do? We just return a 1. And you can also return a 0. I wrote a 1. It does not really matter. Okay. And what are we doing? We are just going on to the DFSL, and this is marking the cell as visited. Okay, this is marking the cell as visited. You can also use a visited array if you want. I just modified the array that was, or not the array, sorry, the matrix that was given to us in the question itself. Fine. And what are we saying? If we are getting a 0, that means never did we find a mismatch between grid 1 value and grid 2 value. That is when we say that, okay, whenever we get a 0, we just increment our count. And what is this counter storing? This is storing the count of sub-islands that we have in grid 2, and at the end of the day we just return the count. Fine. So I hope the question statement as well as the explanation and the code is clear to you. But if you still do have a doubt, please do ask me in the comment. I'll be replying to it surely. Okay. And that is it for this video. If you're enjoying this series, please do like and subscribe, and yeah, thank you for watching.